Hi! In our previous topic, we learned how to model undamped, free vibration, and was able to describe the motion of the object at any given time. So, nag-model tayo ng simple harmonic motion kung saan gumawa tayo ng differential equation na nagde-describe dun sa motion nung mass na nakakonekta sa isang spring. However, that is in the absence of air resistance. Walang damping na involved doon. So in this lecture video, I will discuss a related topic, but this time, the vibration comes with damping. So you can think of that damping as something analogous to friction. And you will learn how to model a damped second-order system and determine the factors that affect its transient response. So, if you're ready, let's begin! So as I have said in this video, we will model damped free vibration. Free vibration means that there are no external forces acting on the mass. And damped because there is some sort of damping which will impede the motion of the object. So to model this damped free vibration, let us consider once again an object having a mass m and a spring whose spring constant is equal to k. Now, can you imagine what will happen if I will give this an initial displacement? Ipupull ko siya downward. After ko siyang ipull downward, bibitawan ko siya. So, what will happen? Of course, this object will move. But how will it move in the presence of damping? Okay, let us see. Ayan, so hinila natin siya pababa and then binitawan natin. So, as you can see, nagva-vibrate yung object. Pero habang siya ay nagva-vibrate, yung pag-vibrate niya habang tumatagal ay humihina hanggang finally, siya ay huminto na. Okay, so bakit huminto yung mass sa pag-vibrate niya up and down? That is due to the damping that is present in this system. So, meron tayong constant na gagamitin other than K. So, this K is a property of the spring. But what caused this object to stop? Again, it's damping. And how do we represent damping? We will represent it using a constant called the damping coefficient. And how about the force that is due to damping? Kapag ang velocity na involved ay hindi masyadong malalaki, okay, for small values of velocity, the force due to damping is proportional to the velocity. Para pa lang yan yung motion of freely falling object in the presence of air resistance. Yes, okay, that is proportional to the velocity. So once again, this B is our damping coefficient, or sometimes we call it the damping constant. So here, the negative sign indicates that this force is an opposing force, which means that if the velocity of the object is upward, the direction of the damping force is downward. It always opposes the direction of the velocity. So if this object is traveling upwards, for example, lagay natin dito. In this instant of time, siya ay traveling upwards, 'di ba? So if it is traveling upwards, let us see. Ayan, pataas siya. So in that case, kung siya ay pataas, that means yung force due to damping is directed downwards. And, ayan, this time, pababa na siya. Okay? So since the velocity is directed downwards, so this time, the direction of this damping force is upward. Kaya inilalagay natin dito yung negative sign to indicate that its direction is always opposite the direction of the velocity. So now, how are we going to model this system? In order to model this system, gawa tayo ng drawing dito. So halimbawa, ito yung mass. Kapag siya ay going upward, ano yung mga forces na nag-a-act sa kanya? Ang nag-a-act na force sa kanya is yung force due to damping, which is FB. Yan. Kung upward to, ito naman downward. Now, another force that is present is the reaction of the spring. 'Di ba? Kung ang velocity niya is pataas, ang gagawin ng spring sa kanya, itutulak siya ng spring pababa. Right? Okay. So, meron tayo ditong Fs. Yang Fs na yan naman yung spring force natin. Now, gagawa tayo ng model. Anong element yung gagamitin natin para dito sa spring force? Di yung spring. At ano namang element ang gagamitin natin para sa damping coefficient? Ito yon. Okay? Meron tayo ditong damping element. Yan yung damper natin, which dampens the motion of this object. Siya yung dahilan kaya siya minto ng pag-vibrate. Di ba in our previous topic, dun sa simple harmonic motion, yung object, once na gumalaw, siya ay mananatiling gumagalaw. Kasi wala namang external forces na involved doon. Walang damping. So, ang kanyang graph, magkikreate siya ng perfect na sine wave. Pero dito, hindi. Bakit? Kasi, possibly, sa simula, gumagalaw siya and then maya-maya pa, hindi na siya gagalaw. Hihinto na siya. And again, the reason why this object will come to a stop is this damping element, the damper element. Okay? So ngayon, pwede na tayong makapag-formulate ng differential equation mula dito by simply applying Newton's second law of motion. Lagay natin dito. Applying Newton's second law of motion, which states that the net force acting on a body, alam naman natin yan, the net force, F net, is equal to the product of the mass and the acceleration. Now, kapag ka itong object na to ay binitawan na natin, yan. Di ba gumagalaw siya? Okay? So, kapag binitawan mo siya, gagalaw na siya. Walang ibang forces na nag-a-act sa kanya. Kung hindi, itong dalawang ito. Yung force due to the damping element and force due to the spring. And, kung ito ay upward, silang dalawa is downward, right? At kung ang object naman ay pababa, ito naman ay pataas. Okay? So, since they always oppose the velocity, lagi silang opposing forces, negative yung pagre-represent natin sa kanila. So, we have this force, negative BV, minus yung spring force na, remember, sabi ng Hooke's law, equal sa Kx. Diba? Kung ang displacement natin ay x, then that would be negative Kx equals m times the acceleration, which is, alam natin, that's dv over dt. As you may notice here, our independent variable is time. And therefore, we can use the dot notation instead of d over dt. And in addition to that, we have two dependent variables, v and x. It would be better if we will use a single dependent variable. So, ang gawin natin, i-express natin ang buong equation na ito in terms of x. So, itong velocity, alam natin, derivative yan ng x with respect to t. So, papalitan lang natin ito ng dx over dt. Samantalang ito naman, magiging second derivative siya ng x. So, rewriting the equation, we now have m. Ito yon, kinopya ko lang. At itong dv over dt, papalitan ko na lang ng second derivative ng x. Tapos ito ilipat ko sa kabila. Plus b times v, which is the first derivative of x. Tapos ito ilipat ko rin. Plus kx is equal to 0. So we now have a homogeneous LCCDE. And this homogeneous LCCDE is what we call the differential equation of motion. Okay? This is the differential equation of motion that describes this spring mass system in the presence of damping. And since meron na tayong isang homogeneous LCCDE, pwede na natin itong isolve para makuha natin yung solution ng differential equation na ito. And that solution is x as a function of t, which describes the position of this object at any given time. Now, kapag alam mo na yung position, malalaman mo rin yung kanyang velocity. Or if you want, malalaman mo rin yung kanyang acceleration. Kapag ito kinunan mo ng first derivative and second derivative respectively. So, the response of the system, alin yung response? The response is this x of t. Remember, yung solution ng differential equation, yun ang response ng system. And that response may vary depending on the values of m, b, and k. So, once again, the response of the system may vary depending on the values of m, yung mass, yung damping coefficient, at saka yung spring constant. So, since ito ay quadratic ang makukuha nating auxiliary equation, di ba may tatlong cases yan? Kapag quadratic ang auxiliary equation, meron tayong case 1, case 2, at case 3. Yes, if you remember. So, ngayon, papangalanan natin yung tatlong cases na yan. Kapag ginawa natin ito ng auxiliary equation, yung makukuha nating discriminant is b squared minus 4mk. 'Diba? So, depende nga sa values ng B, M, at K, malalaman natin yung response. First, kapag ang B squared ay greater than 4MK, yan yung case 1. B squared is greater than 4MK. Again, this is your case 1. May makukuha tayong tinatawag na overdamped response. Yan, overdamped. Next, when this B squared becomes equal to 4MK, ang response na makukuha natin ay tinatawag na critically damped. And when this B squared becomes less than 4MK, magkakaroon tayo ng complex conjugate roots. And when that happens, our response is called the underdamped response. So, mamaya bibigyan ko kayo ng mga examples kung saan ipapakita natin itong iba't ibang cases na ito. Now, I'd like to give you the equation that represents the general form of a second-order system. So, this is the equation x double dot, the second derivative of x with respect to t, plus 2 times the parameter zeta times omega naught x dot plus omega naught squared x is equal to 0. So, this is the general form of a second-order system. So, dito yung parameter na zeta ay tinatawag natin na damping ratio. And the value of the damping ratio depends on the response. Kapag siya ay overdamped, critically damped, or underdamped. And we will derive the expression for finding the damping ratio in the next slide. I-express natin itong damping ratio in terms of M, B, and K. So first, i-rewrite ko muna yung differential equation of motion natin. Di ba ito yon? X double dot plus mx double dot, pangit, so, i-rewrite ko muna yung equation natin kanina. Yung differential equation of motion, mx double dot plus b x dot plus kx equals 0. Diba yan siya? Ngayon, i-divide natin both sides of the equation by m. Para ang leading coefficient ng second derivative ay 1. So, dito magkakaroon tayo ng b over m x dot plus here, we'll have k over mx equals 0. Tapos, saka natin siya ngayon i-compare dun sa general form ng isang second order system. Diba? That's x double dot plus 2 times zeta omega naught times x dot plus omega naught squared x equals 0. So, by comparing these two equations, we can say that, itong omega naught squared, ito yon, ay equal sa k over m. Therefore, yung omega naught ay equal din sa square root of k over m. And if you may notice, kagaya rin siya ng formula ng omega naught na nakuha natin dun sa simple harmonic motion. So again, itong omega naught ang tinatawag natin na angular frequency, which is measured in radians per second. Next, compare naman natin yung coefficients ng first derivative. So, yung 2 times zeta omega naught ay equal sa b over m, right? So, sulat natin dito. 2 times zeta omega naught is equal to b over m, from which may makukuha tayong expression para sa zeta. Diba? Kapag kinumpute natin yung zeta, that is b over 2 times m times omega naught. Diba? Now, kapag itong omega naught ay in-express natin in terms of k and m, so ito yon. I will substitute this expression here. Ang makukuha natin ay b over 2 times the square root of m times k. Ayan. So, ito na ngayon yung expression natin para sa damping ratio. Remember that this zeta is the damping ratio. So, in terms of b, m, and k, we have b over 2 times the square root of mk. Ayan. So, meron na tayo ngayong damping ratio at saka angular frequency. Sir, ano ang unit ng damping ratio? Unitless siya. Okay? Now, ano naman ang silbi ng damping ratio? Yung damping ratio, pwede nating gamitin para i-classify ang response ng system. Kasi kanina, ang ginamit natin para mag-classify ng response is yung values ng B, M, and K. Para malaman natin kung siya baga ay overdamped, critically damped, or underdamped. Ngayon, malalaman natin kung anong klaseng transient response ang meron yung system depende sa value naman ng zeta or nung damping ratio. So once again, depending on the value of the damping ratio, we can classify the transient response of the system. Sir, bakit transient? Kasi guys, ito ay free vibration. Wala pa tayong external excitation. Kaya yung makukuha nating response ay purely transient. Okay? So, these are the transient response na ma-exhibit ng system depende sa value ng damping ratio. Kapag ang damping ratio ay greater than 1, overdamped yung response niya. And if this is equal to 1, then we have a critically damped response. And if the damping ratio is less than 1 but greater than 0, yan naman ang tinatawag na underdamped. Sir, paano kapag nag-0 yung damping ratio? Ay di walang damping, undamped. Okay? Yan yung case na inaral natin last time sa simple harmonic motion. Walang damping doon. Kapag nag-0 yung damping, itong term na ito, mawawala. At itong matitira, x double dot, yan yung inaral natin last time. Yung simple harmonic motion na free vibration na walang damping. Di ba? Madali lang. So now, tandaan nating mabuti ha. Malalaman natin yung response ng isang second order system, yung kanyang transient response, pwedeng depende sa values ng m, b at k. Kapag kinompute mo yung b squared minus 4mk. Now, pwede mo ring malaman yung transient response kung siya baga ay anong klaseng damping depende sa value ng damping ratio. So again, if that is greater than 1, overdamped. Over. Kaya nga greater, over. 'Di ba? Kapag less than, under, kinulang. Okay? Kapag equal, sakto 'yan, critical 'yan, no? Para lang madali mong matandaan. So kung zeta ay di walang damping, kaya siya ay undamped. O 'di ba? Madali lang. O, ngayon, ano naman ang sunod nating gagawin? So, this time, we will do some experiments again with the use of this PhET simulation software. Ganda-ganda niya, promise. Kaya I encourage you, i-download nyo na yan at gawing add-in sa inyong mga PowerPoint para makapag-experiment din kayo. Di ba? So, we will use this PhET simulation software to verify the formulas that we have just derived in the previous slide. This is also for enrichment and for further appreciation of the concepts that the formulas are trying to say. So what do we have here? Okay, we have here a mass that is connected to a spring. Initially, I set the mass to only 50 grams and I set the spring constant to a low value. Hindi naman doon sa pinaka-minimum, ayan, 1 to level 3 siya. And unlike our experiment in the previous video, this time, meron na tayong damping. Okay? And initially, sinet ko yung damping na mataas ang value. And then later, i-change natin yan. Now, the acceleration due to gravity is set to 9.8 meters per second squared, meaning we're on Earth. Now, if you want to simulate an environment, for example, nasa ibang planeta, halimbawa, ikaw ay nasa Jupiter or nasa Moon. Yan, sa Jupiter, malaki yung acceleration due to gravity. 24.8, o, diba? Of course, pero ang gusto natin nasa Earth tayo. Ayan. So, what I will do here is I will give this mass a certain initial displacement by pulling it down. And then after that, I will release the mass and let us see and observe what happens to it. Okay? So, lagay ko muna dito ng pause. Ayan. Tapos, hilahin ko siya pababa. Ayan. Tapos, i-play ko siya. No? Pag nag-play siya, gagalaw siya at its normal speed. Okay, so remember our setting, we have here 50 gram mass, mababa yung mass niya, mababa ang spring constant at mataas ang damping. Ano kaya ang mangyayari sa pag-oscillate ng mass na ito? Let us see. Okay, so as you have seen, hindi masyadong malakas yung vibration. Nung i-release ko siya, almost instantly, hindi na agad siya gumagalaw after niyang umangat. 'Di ba? So anong klaseng response ang ine-exhibit ng case na ito? Ulitin natin. Ayan, no? Okay, so after ko siyang i-release, wala masyadong vibration, huminto na siya agad. Anong klaseng transient response yung na-experience ng mass na ito? Yan ba ay? Okay. Tama bang iniisip mo? Yes. Okay. Yan ay nag-exhibit ng overdamped response. Okay? Overdamped. Sir, bakit overdamped yung response niya? Kasi malaki yung damping niya. So what will happen if I would increase the mass? If I would increase the mass, let us see. Okay. Naging 146 siya, di ba? Okay. So as expected, magkakaroon siya ngayon ng konting vibrations. So what will happen if I would also increase the spring constant? Pag in-increase ko yung spring constant, we can expect na magiging mas malakas yung vibration. Ayan. Okay? And what will happen if I would decrease the damping? Dito na lang sa kalahati. What will happen? Let us see kung tama yung iniisip mo. Ayan. So, naging mas malakas yung damping niya. Okay? So, ano pala ang effect? Kapag pinapalaki natin yung mass at pinapalaki natin ang spring constant, yung vibrations niya lumalakas. And also, kapag ibinaba natin yung value ng damping constant, lumalaki pa rin yung vibrations or lumalakas ang vibrations. So, gawin natin itong 200 grams. Tapos, ganyan kalaki yung spring constant and liitan pa natin yung damping. Okay? So, kapag ito ay hinila ko, pababa, yung vibrations niya medyo magtatagal bago siya huminto. Unlike nung una nating setup, di ba? So, anong klaseng transient response ang ni-exhibit niyan? Yan naman ang tinatawag na, yes, that's right. Yan ang tinatawag na underdamped response. Kung makikita natin yung graph niyan, yan ay isang sine wave na nagdi-decrease yung amplitude habang tumatagal, no? Ganyan yung itsura niya. So, yan ang tinatawag na underdamped response. Isulat natin. Ano ang itsura ng kanyang response kung igagraph natin yan? Ayan. Hanggang sa mamatay yung vibration. Again, anong tawag sa kanyang response? Yan ang underdamped response. Now, sir, bakit nagkakaganyan? If you recall, meron tayong dinerive na formula. Remember, nang nakaka-apekto sa damping is yung damping ratio. At yung damping ratio na yan, remember, ano ang formula niyan? Di ba yan ay B over 2 times the square root of mk. So, kung malaki yung damping, malaki yung value ng B, malaki rin yung value ng damping ratio. Less ang vibrations niya. So, yung unang ginawa natin kanina kung saan mababa yung mass, mababa rin yung spring constant, at malaki yung value ng damping, yan yung overdamped response. Madaling huminto, wala masyadong vibrations. Okay? Bakit? Kung malaki yung value ng B, malaki rin yung makukuha nating damping ratio. And pinaliit natin yung mass. 'Di ba? Pinaliit din natin yung spring constant. Kaya, kung maliit ang M at maliit din yung value ng K, malaki yung makukuha nating value ng damping ratio. At kung malaki ang damping ratio, ang makukuha nating value is greater than 1. And that is why naging overdamped yung kanyang response. Remember that when zeta is greater than 1, yan ay overdamped. Now, kapag pinalaki natin yung mass, at pinalaki natin ang spring constant at binabaan ang damping, anong mangyayari? Maliit yung B, liliit ito. Malaki ito, liliit din yung damping ratio natin. So kapag ang damping ratio natin ay lumiit, nagkataong ang damping ratio ay less than 1, ang makukuha nating response ay underdamped. At kung yan ay underdamped, yan ay magkakaroon ng oscillations. Pero yung oscillations habang tumatagal, mamamatay siya. Ganito ang makikita natin. Yan. Nag-o-oscillate and then lumiliit yung vibration hanggang sa huminto na siya. Ngayon, pakita natin yung equilibrium positions niya, yung features nito. Yan. Tapos, if you want, we can measure the period and we can see the direction of the velocity and acceleration. So, gawin natin ng slow mo siya para ma-explain ko ng ayos. So, halimbawa, initially, dito ko siya isa-set. Yung kanyang initial position is nandito. Yan. Ano kaya ang mangyayari sa kanya? Wait. I-pause muna natin siya para hindi agad siya gumalaw. Yan. Once na yan ay aking i-play, gagalaw siya nang mabagal kasi naka-slow mo siya. Ayan. So, nakikita natin yung direction ng velocity at saka yung kulay dilaw direction ng acceleration. Tapos ito yung pangsukat natin ng period. Okay? At ito namang kulay green, yan yung displacement from equilibrium position na habang tumatagal, lumiliit ng lumiliit hanggang hindi na siya gumagalaw. Now, here, meron tayong mga tools. Timer, meron din tayong ruler if you want to use the ruler. Okay? Now, ang gagawin natin is, i-measure natin yung period. Paano? I-pause muna ulit natin yan. Hilahin natin siya dito. And, kapag pinindot ko tong play button, gagalaw siya. Tapos makakapag-measure tayo ng period by simply observing kasi naka-slow mo siya. Kasi kung normal yan, medyo mabilis siyang mag-vibrate, baka mahirapan tayong i-measure yung period kaya nag-slow mo tayo. So now, let us play this. So hintayin kong bumalik doon bago ko i-pause. Yan. So, nung bumalik siya dito, that means nakakompleto siya ng isang cycle. At ang nakuha nating period is 1.3 seconds. Okay? So, the period is 1.3 seconds. Okay? Now, what I will do is, I will increase the initial position. Reset natin to. Okay, increase ko yung initial position. Now, hilahin ko ulit siya. Pababa. Ay, hindi na kaya. Maximum na yun. Anyway, that's fine. The initial position is still greater than the first one. Okay, so what I will do is, again, ipi-play ko to. And i-observe natin ngayon yung period kung magbabago. Hulaan nyo nga. Now, kanina, dito ko lang siya hinila. Maliit yung initial position kanina. Ngayon, pinalaki ko yung initial position. What do you think will happen to the period? Will it increase or decrease? Okay, sige nga. Tingnan natin kung anong mangyayari. Tandaan mo yung hula mo, ha? Tingnan natin kung tama. Magbabago kaya ang period niya nung pinalaki ko ang kanyang initial position? Tingnan natin. Okay. So, tama ba ang hula mo? The period, as we can see, is identical to our previous result. 1.3 seconds pa rin siya. So, ano ang ibig sabihin nito? Ang ibig sabihin niyan, hindi nakakaapekto ang value ng initial position sa period. Bakit? Remember, yung formula ng period natin, kahit may damping man yan o wala, laging equal lang saan? 2 pi square root of m over k. Kung gusto nating malaman yung value ng k dito kasi walang value dito sa simulator, pwede natin siyang computein kasi alam natin yung period at alam din natin yung mass, 'di ba? Pag yung t dinivide ko ng 2 pi at ini-square ko, ang makukuha ko ay m over k. Okay? So kung gusto mong makuha yung k, baliktarin ko lang 'yan. Magiging 2 pi over t and then squared divided by, or not divided by kasi nga naka-divide. So, dapat dito may multiplier na mass. So, derive natin yung, or compute natin yung kanyang spring constant dyan. So, we have the mass which is equal to 208 grams. So, gawin natin MKS. Dapat naka-kilograms yan. So, 0.208 times 2 pi over the period which is 1.3 seconds. Tapos, i-square natin. Okay. So, yan. Ang nakuha natin sagot is 4.85 or 86. Yung nakuha natin K is 4.86 newtons per meter. Okay? So, di ba ang galing? Nakapag-experiment tayo. So, ayan. Woo! So, you can download this PhET simulation and make it an add-in to your PowerPoints kung gusto nyo, kagaya ng ginagawa ko. Ayan. So now, let us solve some example problems. Okay, here's the problem. A 10 kilogram structure can be modeled with a mass and a spring. Okay, so para madali, rekta na agad tayo sa given. Yung mababasa natin na given, ilagay na agad natin. Ang sabi, yung daw mass ay 10 kilograms. Tapos, yung daw spring ay may stiffness na 290 newtons per meter. Di ba yung stiffness yun yung spring constant? So, K is 290. Then the object is pushed downward with a displacement of 10 cm. So, kung yan ay downward, dapat yung makukuha nating displacement ay negative. No? The initial displacement is negative 10 cm yan. Gawin ko siyang meters. So, negative 0.1 meter. And released from rest, meaning that the velocity initially is 0. While it is in motion, the mass is subjected to damping with a damping constant of 40 kilograms per second. So, here, B has a value of 40. So, letter A, determine the type of damping that the structure exhibits. Ano daw uri ng damping? Paano natin malalaman kung anong klaseng damping ang in-exhibit ng system na ito? So, we are given the values of M, K, and B, from which makukompute natin ang determinant. Kung natatandaan nyo, yung B squared minus 4AC. So, we have 40 squared. And let us compare it to 4 times MK, we have 10, and then K, which is 290. So, 40 squared is 1,600, right? Kinalkyo ko pa rin. Okay, how about 4 times 10 times 290? 4 times 10 is 40 times 290 equals 1,600. Okay, so we have 1,600. So we have here 1,000 or 1,600 na less than 11,600. So if that is the case, ano ang ating damping? Yan ay if this is less than that. If B squared is less than 4 MK, anong klaseng transient response meron yan? Yan ay, yes, that's correct. Yan ay underdamped. At kung siya ay underdamped, dapat ano ang kanyang damping ratio? Dapat ang makukuha nating damping ratio ay less than 1 but greater than 0. So, ipoprove natin yan dito sa letter B. Kung saan kukumputin natin ang natural frequency and the damping ratio. So, to solve for the natural frequency, that's F. That is 1 over 2 pi times the square root of K over M. Substituting 1 over 2 pi times the square root of K, which is 290, over M. Computin natin sa calculator. 1 over 2 pi times the square root of fraction sign. 290 over 10 is just 29 over 1. Nilagay ko pa yung over 1. So, 0.857. Here, we have 0.857 hertz. So, that's the frequency. Now, how about the damping ratio? To solve for the damping ratio, remember the formula. That's B over 2 times the square root of MK. So, if we substitute the values, B is 40 divided by 2 square root of mass 10 times K na 290. Dapat less than 1 yan, di ba? But greater than 0. Ayan, meron tayong 0.37. Okay, 0.37. So, as expected, our damping ratio is less than 1. Kasi nga, kanina, na-determine na natin na siya ay underdamped. O, diba? So, nag-a-agree yung ating mga sagot. So, kung nag-a-agree sila, confident ka ngayon sa sagot mo. Pero, halimbawa, kanina sabi mo underdamped yan. Pero ngayon, nakuha mo greater than 1. So, your answers do not agree. That is why there must be some mistake. na pwede mong i-review. Kaya dapat pag ikaw, again, nagsosolve ka ng problem, dapat presence of mind. Hindi pwedeng sulat ka lang ng sulat or pindot ka lang ng pindot sa calcio. Kinakailangan, after mong makuha ang sagot sa calculator, ito ay iyong susuriin. Ito ay tama o mali. Diba? Next, find the equation that describes the motion of the structure. Madali lang yan. If you recall the differential equation of motion of the damped spring mass system, di ba yun ay m x double dot plus bx dot plus kx equals 0. So, divide natin both sides ng m. Magiging x double dot na lang yan. Plus b over m x dot plus k over m x equals 0. Now, substitute natin yung values. Yung value ng b, 290. No, 40. At yung value ng m ay 10, right? So, 40 over 10 is 4. So, 4x dot plus yung k, 290 over 10, that's 29. So, 29x equals 0. Now, kung kukunan mo ng auxiliary equation, ang homogeneous LCCDE na yan, ang auxiliary equation niya ay m squared plus 4m plus 29 equals 0. Tapos, kuhanin natin yung roots gamit ang calculator. So, mode, equation, tapos quadratic, and then, i-input natin ang coefficients, 1, 4, and 29. May makukuha tayong negative 2 plus minus 5i. So, complex conjugate roots yung nakuha natin. So, we have negative 2 plus minus 5i. Di ba kapag yung root natin ay complex conjugate, tapos yung real part ay negative, ang makukuha natin ay product ng exponential and sinusoid. So kapag yung sinusoid, minultiply mo ng exponential na nagdedecay, magdedecay din yung sinusoid. Kaya siya ay damped sinusoid. And that is the reason why yung response ay underdamped. O, di ba? Ang galing? So ngayon isulat na natin. Ano ang kanyang x of t? X of t is equal to e raised to, yung real part, gagawin mong exponent ng e. 2t times c1 cosine of 5t plus c2 sine 5t. We have now the general solution na naglataglay ng arbitrary constants na c1 at saka c2. Next, anong susunod natin gawin? Hanapin mo yung C1 at C2 by imposing the initial conditions. However, yung initial condition natin, kailangan ng initial velocity. Kaya, kunin muna natin, ano ang kanyang initial velocity? Which is the first derivative of x. So, I just copy this, e to the negative 2t, and differentiate this, all of this. So, negative 5 C1 sine 5t, tapos 5 C2, cosine 5t. Tapos, kopyahin ko siya at derivative nito. So, ang derivative niya ay negative. Kaya ito, papalitan ko. Gawin nating minus. Minus 2 e raised to negative 2t. I just copy this. C1 cosine 5t plus C2 sine 5t. Yan. So, meron na tayong first derivative ngayon. I-impose natin yung mga initial conditions. Ang sabi kanina sa problem, ang initial value of x ay negative 0.1. So, kapag ito ginawa kong 0, ang t, ang matitira lang dito is e to the 0 is 1 at saka c1. So, when t is equal to 0, x is, anong sabi niya? X is negative 0.1. Negative 0.1. So, lagay natin dito yan. Kapag ito nag-0, ang matitira is C1. Ito 0 na. So, C1 equals, e to the 0 is 1. Yung x of 0 na, negative 0.1. Yan. So, may value na tayo ng C1. Diba? Ang galing. Tapos, kapag ang ti equals sa 0, diba ang initial velocity niya 0 kanina, nabanggit yon. So, dito tayo mag-substitute kasi ito yung equation ng velocity. E to the 0 is 1. Ito magsi-0. Ito may makukuha akong 5c2. 5c2 minus 2 times e to the 0 is 1. So, minus 2 times c1. Ito magsi-0 na. Equals 0. So, if you want to solve for C2, ito ilipat mo lang sa kabila. Diba? So, C2 is 2 times C1. Ito times ko lang ng 2. Divided by 5. So, if I multiply this by 2, that's 0.2. And divided by 5, so ang makukuha ko dun ay 0.04. Negative. Negative 0.04. So, since we now have the values of C1 and C2, we can now write an expression for the position as a function of time. So, let me now write the response of the system, which is x as a function of time. Okay? And this x represents the position. Diba? So, I just copy this, e raised to negative 2t times yung C1 at saka C2. Parehas naman silang negative. So, ilalabas ko na lang yung negative sign doon. Okay? C1 is 0.1 cosine of 5t plus 0.04 times sine 5t. Ayan. So, this is now the response of the system, which represents the position as a function of time. Pwede mo rin yung kuhanan ng amplitude at saka phase. Paano? Yung amplitude niya, pwede nating makompute. That's the square root of 0.1 squared plus 0.04 squared. Compute natin sa calcu. 0.1 squared plus 0.04 squared. Ang sagot ay 0.11 approximately. So, 0.11. So, pwede ko rin itong isulat as negative 0.11e raised to negative 2t times cosine of, okay, omega t. Ano yung omega natin? 5t minus yung phi. Okay. Ang phi niyan ay tangent inverse of shift tangent inverse of 0.04 over 0.1. Okay. Ayan, 0.38. So, minus 0.38 radians. Okay, so this is now our phase amplitude form. Ito at saka ito parehas lang. Okay? Now, how about letter E? Describe the position and the motion of the mass after 2 seconds. So, kuhanan natin yung position at motion. Okay. Kung position at motion, kasama yung velocity. Diba? So, kung kasama ang velocity, unahin ko na yon. Ang velocity derivative ng, ito, kopyahin ko lang, negative alpha e raised to negative 2 alpha x times 0.1 cosine 5 alpha x plus 0.04 sine 5x. Parang may mali dito. Kulang sa parenthesis. Yan. Sa pang parenthesis. When x is equal to 2 kasi when t is equal to 2 daw. Diba? So, ang makuha kong velocity is v of 2. That's negative 5.78 times 10 to the negative 3 meters per second. Next, hanapin ko naman yung x. So, para madali, ang gagawin ko lang dyan, i-replay ko lang to, tapos tatanggalin ko yung derivative. O, diba? Tapos, ika-calc. Calc when x is 2. Ayan. So, meron tayong sagot, 1.94. So, paano natin ngayon madidescribe? Madali lang. Kung ang x of 2 ay positive, that means siya ay nasa taas. It is above the equilibrium position. Now, since here the velocity is negative, that means it is traveling downward. O, diba? So, nasagot na natin ngayon yung letter E. Na-describe na natin yung position at saka motion. So, hindi na masyadong mahalaga yung mga magnitude nila. Hindi meter to, I think, ano ba yung sagot? To the negative 3. So, millimeter yan kasi to the negative 3. So, that's it. Na-solve na natin. Now, how about another example? A ball having a weight of 98 newtons. Okay, so yung 98 newtons weight, mula doon makukuha natin yung mass. 'Di ba yung mass, that is the weight divided by the acceleration due to gravity. 98 divided by 9.8 is 10. Okay, next. It's vertically mounted to a spring which caused the spring to be stretched by 1.09 meters. Ang ibig sabihin nito, kapag ka ang force na inilagay mo or weight na inilagay mo ay when Fs is 98 newtons, yung makukuha nating x or displacement ay 1.09 meters. Then the ball is pulled downward. Okay. So initially spring lang. Nung nilagyan ko siya ng weight, na stretch siya by this amount. Tapos, after the addition of the weight, hinila mo papababa by 16 cm and released from rest. So, meron siyang initial position na negative 0.16. Bakit negative? Kasi downward. Nasa baba siya. 16 cm, ginawa ko lang siyang meters. And released from rest, that means the velocity initially is 0. Describe the motion of the spring mass if the damping constant is, yan, yung B na gagamitin natin ay 100 kilograms per second. So kung napansin natin, wala tayong value ng K. May M, may B, pero walang K. Bakit? Kasi yung K ay makukuha ko dito. Okay? Remember from Hooke's law, Fs is equal to K times X. Hindi ko nalalagay yung negative sign. So K is F, which is 98, divided by 1.09. Pitin natin yan. 98 divided by 1.09. The answer is 89.91. 89.91. Tapos, isave natin yan sa calculator. Shift, store, sa A. Now, describe the motion of the spring mass system if the damping constant is 100 kilograms per second. Okay. So, yung transient response ay makukumpute natin or malalaman natin base lang sa values ng M, B, at saka K. Or directly compute na natin yung damping ratio. The damping ratio is B over 2 times the square root of MK. Substitute lang natin ang mga values. Ang B ay 100. 2 times the square root of the mass. Kano yung mass? 10. At yung K ay nakastore sa A. 1.67. Okay. So, this is greater than 1, right? So, meaning we have an overdamped response. This is an overdamped response. Kasi ang kanyang damping ratio ay greater than 1. So, kung overdamped yan, dapat yung roots ng ating characteristic equation ay dalawang distinct roots. Diba? Ganun pag overdamped. Okay, let us see. Ano ang characteristic equation nito? So, M squared, ano yung M? 10, X double dot, plus B. So, 100. X dot, plus K. Ano yung K? 89.91. X equals 0. So, yan yung differential equation of motion. Now, hanapin natin yung roots niya. Quadratic, 10, 100, 89.91. Dapat ang makukuha natin ay dalawang distinct roots. Ayan. Negative 0.986 at saka negative 9. Okay. So, kung mapapansin nyo, this is approximately negative 1. Approximate na lang natin, no? So, M1 is approximately negative 1 and M2 is approximately negative 9, di ba? Negative 9. Kaya, ang makukuha nating general solution ay x of t equals C1 e raised to negative t plus C2 e raised to negative 9t. Next, gamitin natin yung initial conditions para malaman yung values ng C1 at saka C2. Kunin ko muna ang value ng first derivative, x dot of t. Ano ang expression niya? Derivative nito, negative C1 e raised to negative t minus 9 C2 e raised to negative 9t. Now, let's apply the conditions. Dito, kapag ang t ay nag-0, ang matitira ay C1 plus C2. So, C1 plus C2 equals negative 0.16. Ito naman, kapag nag-0 tong t, ang matitira negative C1 minus 9C2 equals 0 because the initial velocity is 0. So, if I solve these two equations simultaneously, may eliminate, i-add ko na lang yung dalawang yan. Pag in-add ko yung dalawang yan, magka-cancel yung C1 at may makukuha akong value ng C2. Diba? So, pag kinumpute natin yung values ng C1 at C2, ang C1 ay equal sa negative 9 over 50. Ano yan? 0.18. Negative 0.18. At ang C2 naman ay 1 over 50.02. 0.02. O, diba? Meron na tayong C1 at meron na tayong C2. Okay? So, pwede na natin ngayong i-rewrite yung ating general solution para makakuha tayo ng isang particular solution na magre-represent doon sa response ng system. Okay? Lagay natin dito, system response, x of t equals C1 negative 0.18e raised to negative t plus 0.02e raised to negative 90. Okay, there you have it, guys. Tapos na tayong mag-solve ng example na to, no? Nakuha na natin yung response niya. At nasabi natin, bago pa natin siya nakuha, na ang system ay overdamped, ang transient response, kasi agad ay nakuha na natin yung value ng damping ratio, no? At tama naman, kasi nga, kung yan ay dalawang distinct roots, ang magiging resulting transient response ay overdamped talaga. Diba? Okay, so as an exercise, para may magawa ka, solvein mo tong problem na to, you repeat that problem, ang baguhin mo lang is yung B. Gawin mo na lang siyang 60 kilograms per second para naman ma-practice ka. So you just repeat the solution na ginawa ko, hanapin mo yung response. Pero bago mo makompute yung response, pwede mo nang ma-predict yung transient response by computing the damping ratio. Okay, so yun muna yung gawin mo. Computein mo yung damping ratio and i-prove mo na siya ay tama kapag nalaman mo yung response ng system. Okay? So, this would be the end of the video. So, in our next topic, ang i-discuss ko naman is yung vibration kung saan may external force applied. Okay? Yun ang tinatawag nating forced vibration. Okay? So, until the next video. Bye!